Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Today on the program, investigations are underway on the deadly Jolo-Sulu blast.
Ano po yan, nakita natin, nag-iwalay sila. So ongoing po ang pursuit operation.
With the President and the Interior and Local Government Chief calling it a possible suicide bombing attack.
Yes, blowing them up. They say that it's Indonesian.
Also, the House of Representatives passed the bill lowering the age of responsibility.
Chair declares House Bill 8588 passed on third reading.
But will it have the same fate at the Senate?
I think we should also focus on the reality that the state promises a lot. So that I would say ang may liability is the state, not the child.
Senator Kiko Pangilinan joins us live. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. Authorities are now investigating another deadly blast, this time at a mosque in Zamboanga City. Police officials say it is early to establish a possible connection between the Zamboanga explosion and the recent bombings in Jolo-Sulu. Also, a bill seeking to change the minimum age of responsibility hurdles the lower house, but will senators give its approval? Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan. Senator, good to have you again. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us and magandang umaga.
Another blast this morning, early this morning, sir, in Zamboanga, this time in a mosque, killing 2 people, and the twin blast in Jolo, in the Jolo Cathedral, 21 dead and hundreds injured. Sir, what are your thoughts about what is going on?
Well, as early as last year, when we were deliberating on the BOL, the Bangsamoro Organic Law, there were concerns about groups and individuals who would want to derail the process of the creation and establishment of the BOL. So it would be, I'd like to think, this could be, quite related. The enemies of peace would not want to see a progressive development in the area, and therefore are doing what they can to sabotage the process. So yun ang nakikita natin. But of course, let's not get ahead of the investigation. And we'd like to see the results and sino ang nasa likod, no? At dapat managot.
When you talk about the investigation so far, DILG Secretary Eduardo Año was saying that they're not discounting that this could be a suicide bomber. He told us yesterday here on the show that there was a woman. Actually, the word he used was there was a couple. Yung isang babae pumasok sa simbahan, may dala-dalang bag, and then another man outside. President Rodrigo Duterte also saying that this could be a possible case of suicide bombing. Let's listen to what the President said.
Yes, blowing them up.
Babae, sir?
Babae.
So, yung dalawang incidents, sir, dalawang babae?
Lalaki yung isa. They say that it's Indonesian. Others say from the looks of it, it was, wala kang makita eh. No part of the body. Sumabog eh.
Senator, indeed, if that was a case of suicide bombing, what now?
Well, again, let's wait for the results of the investigation. But there is also how do you call it, an angle and analysis that if the peace process does not work, then you will have more radicalized terrorist elements. Precisely nga, the peace process has to work. Otherwise, what options do a new generation of Muslim Filipinos have? Pag nakita nilang, kita mo, ang national government, hindi talaga siniseryoso yung ating mga matagal na, centuries old na daig. Then there is a process of radicalization. And definitely, for example, Marawi, the rehabilitation is critical. The rehabilitation and the reconstruction is critical. Otherwise, you have a generation of residents in Marawi saying, we have been abandoned, we have been neglected, and what options do we have left?
But when we talk about the side of the government, sir, it's a little hard to hear that there could have been lapses in security because from 5 months ago, reports are saying that there was already this threat in the cathedral. And then 5 months later, after the plebiscite, there could have been a possibility, just a possibility, sir, that posibleng nag-relax kasi nalusutan ang ginagamit na salita ng many of the officials. But really, sir, in a situation like this, is there a foolproof way to prevent such incidents from happening?
No, walang 100% foolproof in terms of terrorist acts. You cannot have a 100% guarantee. Sabi nga nila, a determined and resolute terrorist will find an opportunity and will take it. So you can only minimize the risk of terrorist attacks, but you cannot ensure 100% no attacks whatsoever.
And those supporting the martial law in Mindanao say because of martial law, terrorist attacks are minimized.
Well, I don't know where the data is, no? Because we have to look at that, because apparently there is martial law, but at the time nung walang martial law, hindi naman nangyayari yung pambobomba ng mga simbahan, no? So I'm not ready to concede, no, that martial law has been effective and therefore there have been less attacks.
I guess, sir, the reason I bring that up is because when you ask, I asked, for example, Congressman Nograles, is martial law justified? Or I think even the presidential spokesperson, Sal Panelo, was asked, sinasabi nga nila na, definitely. Kasi kung walang martial law, mas maraming nangyaring attacks.
It's speculative. Who is to say where is the proof? So hindi natin alam. It may be true, but we don't know. We cannot validate that. Because you can also argue, andyan na nga ang martial law, pero ngayon lang sa napakatagal na panahon na binobomba ang mga katedral.
That's what I'm saying, Senator. Dalawa po yung argumento dito. Sinasabi na dahil sa martial law, posibleng na-minimize ang kaguluhan doon. And then the other side is saying, di ba may martial law? Bakit nangyari po ito?
Precisely. So, ang sa atin, we can debate this until, di ba, until kingdom come, ika nga. But in the end, let's go after the perpetrators. Let's make sure that they are held to account for these acts. And that's the only way you can really send the signal that we will not allow such dastardly acts to go unpunished.
Which the President has actually ordered the military to do. Let's move on to another topic, sir. The lowering age of responsibility. Sir, this is a move from one term to another, lowering the age of criminal responsibility at the House, lowering the age of social responsibility at the House, lowering the age of responsibility at the House. Sir, is there a difference among all those three? Kasi ngayon, nandun na sila sa age of responsibility. Wala na si criminal, wala na si social.
Well, we're just about to begin the plenary debates in the Senate, so I'd like to wait for that. But I don't agree with the measure of lowering the age of whatever to 12 involving minors. I don't agree with the need for it to be amended. What has to be done is to implement it effectively. In the last hearing in the Senate, the Juvenile Justice Welfare Council admitted that the 400 million that we allocated in 2013 had not been spent, had not been, 5 years later, hindi nagastos lahat. Bakit ganon?
Who said that, sir?
The Juvenile Justice Welfare Council.
Okay.
So, doon mo makikita na hindi na implementa ng maayos kasi nilaan na natin eh. Pinasa natin yung batas, naglagay tayo ng pondo, ano pang gagawin ng legislation? Execution na ito, no?
Implementation
na ito. At hindi nagagawa. And then, may mga insidente sinasabi na wala daw silang magagawa kasi minor de edad kaya pinakakawalan. Which is again, an erroneous implementation of the law because any child in conflict with the law should be brought to a social welfare officer or a bahay pag-asa. In fact, if the crime committed or the offense committed is a serious offense, rape, attempted rape, homicide, murder, carnapping, there is a mandatory involuntary confinement of a period of 1 year, not less than 1 year. In other words, hindi dapat pinakakawalan.
Hindi dapat pinapakawalan.
Because
yes.
the law says hindi dapat pakawalan.
Under the present law.
Yes.
Which is basically similar to the law that is being passed now, the amended version.
Precisely. They're saying hindi ikukulong, ireremand. Nasa batas na nga yun
Yeah.
So, hindi ko maintindihan bakit ginagalaw pa. And the science behind it, sabi ng NAPOLCOM, sabi ng datos ng PNP,
2%.
1.7% pa nga. Merong nagsabing 2.3, but whatever. Less than 2%
Of the crimes committed.
ang ginagawa ng menor de edad.
Yeah.
So why are we moving heaven and earth to go after 1.7%?
I know, I saw that tweet of yours. You were saying that it's actually not a data coming from you, but the PNP, that out of 100% crimes, only 2% involve
Minors.
minors or children.
That is correct.
So sabi mo nga, why not go after the 98% that
And
are
then
committing the
yung
crimes?
argumento na kaya natin kailangan ng amendahan yung batas kasi ginagamit ng mga sindikato yung mga
Yes.
bata. Bakit hindi habulin yung sindikato? Illegal yun eh. Bakit hindi sila ang habulin? Bakit yung bata? I have, my sense is, mas madali kasing habulin yung bata. At yung mga sindikato, coddled by corrupt local officials or coddled by corrupt policemen, sabi siguro nung sabihin na nating mahusay na pulis, ako mahirap. Babanggain natin yung kabaro natin. O hindi yung mahusay na pulis, pero yung pulis na ayaw sumakit ang ulo, sabihin na natin, babanggain natin yung kabaro natin. Babanggain natin yung sindikatong gumagamit ng mga bata. Hindi, yung bata na lang, mas madali. Hindi, it does not make sense. And PNP data, intelligence reports that were submitted to us when we were defending this measure when it was being amended, sabi nila, itong mga batang hamog, yung mga nakikita natin sa EDSA na lumalabas sa TV, coddled by either corrupt MMDA, corrupt barangay officials, or corrupt policemen. Hindi naman maglalakas ng loob yung mga bata na yan na 12, 13 anyos na gumawa ng ganong blatant criminal acts in broad daylight kung walang backer.
But if they're coddled, sir, if meron pong sindikato sa likod nila o grupo sa likod nila, forgive me for saying this, but I think it would be quite easy to find that out, right?
Yes. Well, parang ganito rin eh. Anong pagkakaiba nun doon sa ang pinapatay yung mga maliliit na mahihirap sa drug war, tapos yung mga sindikato na pinasok yung bilyon-bilyon tonelada o bilyon-bilyon piso at toneladang shabu bakit hindi nakukulong? Kasi mas madali yung maliliit eh. Yung sindikato, komplikado eh.
Is it that shallow, sir? Dahil mas madali lang, hindi naman ikulong, mas madaling hulihin ng bata. Ganun ho ba yun?
Well, I don't think it's shallow. I think it's...
Hindi, ganun ho ba kadali lang yung rason kaya nila ginagawa to? I have a follow-up on that, sir.
Historically, the marginalized, the voiceless are always the first to be oppressed, are always the first to be exploited, are always the first to be the victims. And who can be more helpless than a minor?
Mahirap na, bata pa, sir.
Yes, precisely. And ang datos, itong mga children in conflict with the law, galing sa mahihirap na pamilya na broken, dysfunctional, hindi na makapag-aral dahil hindi na nga makakain ng 3 beses sa isang araw, dadalhin mo pa sa eskwelahan, wala nang pabaon, may gastos pa sa transportasyon, etc. So these are poor, coming from poor families. They need help. They need our care. They don't need to be imprisoned.
So, that's where we go, sir. If you use that argument na they need help, yun nga daw ang sinasabi dito sa batas na to, which I think is also part of the Juvenile Welfare Act, sir.
That's precisely why we passed it in 2006, and because there were certain gaps in the law, we amended it in 2013. I feel, we did not renege on our duty. We did not keep quiet or just look the other way when there were concerns about the law. We pushed for it despite the opposition, and when there were criticisms, we amended it. We strengthened the law. So I feel that is sufficient, but what has been, where the gaps were, or where are the gaps in the implementation of the law?
Which is not part of your job, ganun ho ba?
Yes.
Wala ho bang oversight function?
Well, of course, we have oversight.
Yeah.
But, halimbawa, we already allocated 400 million. bakit hindi magastos? Ano, nasaan ang bottleneck?
That's my question, sir. If there's an oversight function of Congress on this at meron pong 400, did you say million?
400 million in 2013.
Opo, bakit ho hindi, why did you not find out about this and why was it not used or utilized properly?
No, it's not that we did not find out about this. We knew that there were problems in the execution of the law, but amending it is not the solution.
Okay, we'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Still to come. The House of Representatives also gave the green light allowing the use of medical marijuana. What about the Senate? Senator Kiko Pangilinan will still be with us after the break. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Sir, dami pa natin pag-uusapan.
Well, doon lang sa sinasabing hindi na isasagawa, hindi na implementa. Kung pondo lang ang pinag-uusapan, ngayon nga, di ba, may debate, sinabi, biglang merong siningit na 75 billion worth of flood control projects in areas in Bicol wherein there are no floods. Big sabihin, kung pondo lang, may
Meron.
pondo. Pero dahil nga bata, voiceless, hindi champion, siguro walang pagkakakitaan, hindi ko alam. No? So, in other words, they are the marginalized and they are the helpless and the voiceless and therefore, sila ang nane-neglect. Sila ang nakakalimutan.
Pero pag-usapan po natin yung edad, kasi ito naman po yung bone of contention eh. Kanino ho ba talaga tayo dapat makinig kung anong tamang edad? There's just a lot of factors, sir.
In fact, the age for me is keep it at 15, but look at the offenses committed. In other words, the gravity of the offense rather than the age. Kasi 15 ka, dapat may criminal liability ka regardless of the crime or the offense committed. Kung nagnakaw ka ng manok, 15 ka, dapat theft, dapat kasuhan ka, humarap ka sa huwes, etc. Di ba? Magpiyansa ka, etc. Pag ikaw involved sa rape, criminal liability rin. Bakit yung nagnakaw ng manok na 15 anyos, di ba? Plus, the NAPOLCOM also said 90% of crimes committed or offenses committed by children, 90% are first-time offenders. Unang pagkakamali, na-impluensyahan, na-pressure, hindi ba? So, bakit kulong agad? Parusa ka agad? Criminal prosecution ka agad?
Okay.
You know,
There was a survey, just to follow up on what you said, sir. It came out yesterday. I read it. It's an SWS survey, but from what I read, sir, dalawa yung survey, one in July and one in December. So, ang sinasabi nila, ang age of responsibility, median is 15 talaga. Although, as you mentioned, sir, pagka may rape, 63% ang nagsasabi na dapat the minor should be jailed. Kapag may pinatay, 59% ang nagsabing the minor should be jailed.
Precisely.
Pababa po yan. Tapos yung sinabi niyo pong theft, bababa yung percentage na yan to the low 50s.
That's right.
Such as this, sir. Ito, yung drug courier, because it seems to be a problem. 49% said dapat makulong. Ito yung snatch the cellphone.
Oh, yun.
28% ang nagsabing dapat. So this is exactly what you're talking about.
And the law, when we amended it, precisely recognized that. And when we amended it, we said when a child is involved in serious offenses, there is a mandatory involuntary confinement of not less than 1 year. So hindi siya pwedeng pakawalan.
But let's clarify that, sir, because sometimes ginagamit niyo din yung salitang kulong. Wala hong kulong dito, di ba? Sa Juvenile Act.
Well,
Confinement.
yes, but the criminal liability is still a concern. Because ngayon nga lang hindi ma-implementa eh. Ngayon lang tingnan natin yung mga jails natin eh. Saan mo dadalhin yung... You know, the reality on the ground is, pag may criminal liability ang 12 years old, saan mo siya dadalhin?
Saan nga ba dapat dalhin?
Temporarily dadali, well,
Sa DSWD,
kung walang bahay
sa bahay pag-asa.
Kung walang bahay pag-asa dahil nga kinakailangan siyang i-rehab at dalhin dun imbis na diversion program, sa kulungan siya ng hardened criminals masasama.
Nahahalo talaga yung bata doon, sir.
Yes, because nga sasabihin hindi sila kulong, dadalhin sila diretso sa detention sa pag-asa bahay or wherever. Kung wala, pero hindi pwedeng pakawalan, ika nga, o hindi pwedeng i-rehab, o kung i-rehab man sa walang facility, may criminal liability, the chances are they're going to go through the same process that the adult would.
They have to go somewhere.
Yes.
Kumbaga, parang gano'n. Mas
Yes.
lalo na pag matindi yung krimen, sir.
That
So,
is
the problem also with the law is there are supposed to be bahay pag-asas in every LGU and...
For example, sorry to cut you, but si Senator Gatchalian, si Win, he himself, former mayor,
Yeah.
he set up a bahay pag-asa
In Valenzuela. Yeah.
He is against the law. He said publicly that
I saw that, sir.
he against
Oo.
amending the law because it worked. Out of 4 out of how is it? 3 out of 4 of those who went through the rehab centers,
Sa Valenzuela.
yes, went back to normal life. Hindi kinulong.
You're right, sir, because in fact, they're saying that there were DSWD personnel who actually went to the Bahay Pag-asa in Valenzuela na parang kung kaya gawin dito, kaya din dapat gawin. Ang problema, sir, 53 lang ata ang may Bahay Pag-asa out of the number of LGUs.
Almost 25% ng ating courts walang judge. Almost 30% of our prosecution fiscal's office walang fiscal. So dapat amendahan natin yung batas. Doon sa mga lugar na wala nun, wag na tayong magkaroon ng sistema ng katarungan, 'di ba? Parang di ba? Hindi, punuin mo. Lagyan mo ng judge, lagyan mo ng piskal. So in this case, lagyan mo ng Bahay Pag-asa. Yun ang solusyon.
Mandatory na siguro. Well, I don't know.
It is
I guess it's mandatory, but
It
they
is
have to
not
crack down on the
It
LGUs
is
right
not being
now.
implemented.
Yeah.
But in the long run, the anti-crime measure is not jailing them or making them account for their acts and giving them criminal liability. The real anti-crime measure is provide them, a second chance. For example, there was a case because of this, the law as it is now currently being, as it is now, gang leader siya sa Manila. Youth gang leader. Involves drugs, involves physical violence, involves snatching. And he was apprehended and he was brought to ERDA Foundation. ERDA is a child rights, child welfare organization accredited by the DSWD.
Okay.
There he was confined, there he was trained.
Nagbago ho siya.
He is now a supervisor in a fast food chain in Manila.
Very quick, sir, we need to go on a break.
And
Pero
marami yun,
ganito po yun. Ang
That's
plano,
just one of many who benefited from this law.
Okay, the plan of the House is really to put them in Bahay Pag-asa, rehabilitate them, pero kapag masentensyahan daw, ang plano, sir, is to bring them to agricultural training centers to serve their sentences.
That's already in the law.
Also,
Yes.
in the Justice Juvenile
Yes.
Welfare Act. We'll be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. We'll be right back. Ano din? You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today is Senator Kiko Pangilinan. Sir, what is your stand on medical marijuana? The House just passed this. Are you for it? Against it?
As long as it's for medicinal purposes, I see no reason why it should not be supported.
So you have an open mind to
Yes.
this, actually.
Yes.
All right. Why is there any?
Wait, sorry, very
wanna go
quickly
back?
lang. Very
Sige.
quickly lang, no. The issue of children in conflict with the law is largely and really, ultimately, a problem of
Poverty.
And so the solution is lower prices of basic commodities, create jobs for our parents, provide them with the necessary living wage so that they can take care of their children. 25% of our population continues to wallow in poverty. And until that is addressed, you will have children who will be abandoned, neglected, forgotten, and will be in the streets.
In fact, that's what the NAPSI said, sir. This bill ends up to be very anti-poor. He
Yes.
said anti-poor and anti-children. Sir, we recently finished our senatorial forum, the second one, and we had members of the opposition joining us. Sir, in the survey so far,
4 of the 7 at our opposition, di ba?
so in,
I mean, opposition, 8 diretso.
Ocho diretso. Sir, yung isa lang ho talagang pumapasok sa Magic 12.
Well, isa, dalawa.
That's Senator Rojas and Senator Bangkina. Okay.
Yes. Well, understandable. There is lack of awareness. So we have to raise their awareness. We have to run ads, of course. But I believe, in the end, if the people are made aware of the qualifications of our 8 candidates, and the other 6 who are in the tail end, I'm sure they will get the support. So we have to raise their awareness.
How, kasi ikaw yung campaign manager, sir, di ba?
That is
Gaano
correct.
ho ba kadali o kahirap ang pangangampanya sa kanila ngayon?
Well, it's an uphill battle. Definitely, we are the underdogs here. But it's a battle worthy worth fighting. We need to have a strong Senate, an independent Senate. Kinakailangan ang Senado ay, kung wala yung Senado, siguro tapos na yung boxing, nag-charter change na. Kung wala yung Senado, siguro ngayon palang aprobado na yung minimum age of criminal liability. Pero dahil nandyan ang Senado, binabalangkas natin ng husto. But we need more independent-minded senators, hindi yung sunod-sunuran. And that's why we believe yung Ocho Derecho should be a viable option for our citizens na naniniwala na kinakailangan kahit sa sasakyan may preno. Hindi pwede yung walang preno, dire-diretso tayo sa bangin. So ang isang Ocho Derecho na independent-minded Senate ticket, pag nailagay natin sa Senado, pati ang China, yung problema ng soberenya natin. We filed so many resolutions in the Senate on foreign relations. Siguro kung 10 meron na. Pero hanggang ngayon hindi hinihiring yung issue ng soberenya, yung issue ng militarization. Kaya napakahalaga na magkaroon ng independent Senate para talagang may check on the other branches of
So
government.
let me ask you this, frankly, sir. Ninenervyos ho ba kayo dahil isa o dalawa lang ang pumapasok na opposition and possibly yung mga administration madagdagan pa sa susunod na Senado, sir?
Well, yan ay ang realidad na kinakailangan nating baguhin sa loob ng 3 buwan. Nangyayari naman. There were candidates, pagdating ng January, they were in the 20s, pero nag-number 1. Meron namang kandidato na number 1 ng umpisa ng kampanya, natalo. So,
You're talking about the past senatorial,
yes, yes. So may mga ganong mga...
Someone like Senator Grace po, dati, di ba, wala nga siya sa top 15 and then eventually made it. Senator
Bam was in the 30s when he first announced. Si
Senator Win Gatchalian.
Joel Villanueva was in the 30s.
And then nag-number 2.
Yes, so hindi pa tapos ang boxing. At tayo naman ay naniniwala, in the end, na dapat, this has to be a people-driven campaign. Ang kalaban namin, maraming pera, maraming billboard, maraming, the whole backing of the machinery of government, of the executive department. Kami, 8, para kaming David, in that sense. Pero hinahanapan natin yung maliit na bato na pagkasapol, talagang sapol na sapol. So yun ang ating kinakailangan gawin. Pero in the end, ang huling baraha, hindi ako naniniwala ay yung politiko. Ang huling baraha ay yung taong bayan.
Definitely those who will be voting. Thank you. Senator Kiko Pangilinan, maraming salamat, sir.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.